on, Chanel. Did you think we wouldn't notice? We know about you and your hush hush reformulations, because that's what's been happening over at Chanel. A few little kind of silenced, sly reformulations of some of your favorite products. We're going to talk all about that and do some testing here today on Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty editor who has spent over 20 years working with some of the biggest names in the beauty, well, and fashion industry. And I have brought Not Fit for Print Beauty right here to YouTube, so you can have a sort of digital filmed live beauty magazine to look through every day or so here on YouTube. Okay, yeah. We have some timestamps and such below, but the deal is that Chanel has been very kind of quietly reformulating things. They were hit by a lot of issues right post-COVID, getting things in and supply issues, as most brands, not just in the beauty industry, but everywhere, were hit with. And it, you know, they changed things up a little bit. Plus, of course, new formulations and keeping up with new laws and whatnot. So we mostly are seeing blush and foundation affected. Apparently the blush formula is entirely different and just it's what you buy now. Maybe it's Pig and a Poke. I saw some of the blushes for sale. I didn't pick any up because I wasn't sure really. When I go into my store, I love my sales associate Nazi over at Fashion Island in Newport Beach, kind of near my house. So I do like to go over there and I'll talk to her about it and maybe pick one of those up for us to try. But I'll tell you what I did pick up that I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt was a new formulation. And that is, remember this, an old favorite. This is the Ultra Teint Velvet Foundation, and I know it's new and it's on the Chanel site. I'll link it below, and where I can I will always link, if I can find the new, up here on YouTube shopping as well, so that you can kind of peruse, browse, and shop while you watch the video. Also look below for information on our Facebook page, on our membership here, and how to give super thanks, finding me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all the good stuff. Okay, so this was a foundation in its first incarnation I had forever ago. I don't have it anymore because long before I had a channel, I would actually toss things out when they got old. But even if I still had it, it wouldn't be a good comparison because it would be so old that it would be thick and it would be, you know, it wouldn't, it's not apples to apples anyway. So we're kind of on our own with this little guy. $55, 15 shades, includes an SPF 15, I believe. And the SPF in here is really just probably a thickening agent. This is a matte finish. It's very long wear. It is meant to even the complexion and dry to a kind of velvet matte powder finish. And I can verify that it's definitely a powder finish. Right now, I have just freshly put on my makeup, and this is 3 hours in. But when we do a demo, we will also, I will also do a check-in. I think I did a check-in about 2 hours in, so you'll see that, and then I'm gonna let it ride the rest of the entire day. This blends seamlessly, and though we had our membership live this morning, and we were talking about how because it dries to a powder, it's great for oily skin. Interestingly enough, on the Chanel website, it suggests this new formulation for normal or combo. Certainly not dry, because it's definitely a powder finish. And they didn't say oily, which I found interesting. Now, it's got two phrases that it uses for the ingredients in this particular formula: skin affinity complex and blurring effect powder. And the problem with those kind of, they don't have trademarks after them, but for lack of a better term, trademarked kind of phrases, is, you know, I don't know what they actually mean, but they say that it blurs the skin and gives that blurring effect. And certainly because it dries to a powder, it does. And all day wear. You're supposed to shake the bottle, wait for the ball to stop moving, and then go ahead and apply it, which we will do in the wear test. If I didn't say, $55 and 15 shades. It is not shades like light, medium. These go by the typical Chanel shades, and I got BR22, which is a lighter and brighter shade that I wear in the Chanel No. 1, which is my favorite Chanel foundation. We're going to talk about this very light fragrance. I believe the original we were talking about earlier in my live, membership live, the original I think had a much stronger fragrance. This one does not. So that's good, and we're going to try it and let it ride. I would love to also thank community member Valentina. Hi, Valentina. She is the one who alerted me to the fact that this was up in its new form on the Chanel website. So I was able to put in a quick order, and that's what let us look at it. So thank you so much, Valentina. This community is so helpful and wonderful. All right, let's go ahead now and go to the demo and follow along. And I'm in the middle of a wear test, so we'll see where this takes us. Do make sure that you're subscribed. Here we go. Okay, let's put this on and start a wear test. Got my hair clipped back. Another appearance from one of the Wayne Goss holiday brushes. Okay. Now, specific instructions on this little guy that I doubt I did the first time I owned the original version of this, to be honest. But you shake it so that the little ball inside moves, and then you're supposed to wait till the ball stops moving. How long does it take to stop moving? It was instantaneous. So why is that instruction of any... Okay, anyway, we shook it up. Okay. Let's see how I did with the shade. Should be a little bit too light, but brightening. That looks about right. Let's try this little guy on. It is a thin foundation that's going to supposedly give me kind of a medium coverage. It is definitely light, but it's a good winter shade. This is, incidentally, the shade I got in the Chanel #1, which is my favorite foundation. One of my favorites. I think Prada might be my favorite, but one of my favorites. Didn't mean to misspeak. Okay. Let's see what we think. So this is a medium coverage. I know that when I talked to my membership, so we have a membership here on YouTube that you can join if you want. We would love to have you. It's $4.99 a month, and the money just goes back to the channel. And we have lives every week. And in the live today, I remember one of the members said that she remembers the original version of this to be very highly fragranced. This one is not. We were all going by memory. It's been a while since we've seen the original version. This one is definitely fragranced, as all Chanel formulations are, but no, it is not what I would call heavily fragranced, unless I'm just completely immune to it at this point. It is not heavily fragranced, but fragranced. There is kind of one, yeah, and it's that kind of powder finish, kind of powder looking finish. You know what I'm going to do? Just on this side, I'm going to put a second layer. I mean, wait, now don't get me wrong. It's fragranced. I'm just not saying it's just not heavily fragranced. Probably less fragranced than a lot of Chanel products. So let me just build this up just on this side only and see if you see a difference. And then we'll get the wear test started. Okay, so now we have two nice layers of it just on this side. And one on this, all right. Doing the other side now. What I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to add just very little makeup. I'm not going to put really any concealer on or powder or any sort of a finishing spray. I will put a little bit of concealer onto the Dark Pits of Despair. Why? Because clearly they need it. So I will do that. But I won't put any concealer around, you know, because I don't like it all the way under here, because then we can't tell if there's a problem, if it's the concealer or the powder or the foundation. And every one of you is going to be probably pairing this with a slightly different concealer, different powder, that kind of thing. So let's just let the foundation go on its own, and I'll add a little bit of makeup in, and we'll do a little bit of a check-in and then a full wear test. I'm not doing anything else today, so this will be my main focus. Let's see what happens. Quick check-in at 2 hours of wear. Haven't even put on any other makeup yet, so we don't have any concealer on, just 2 hours in. I think I'm going to wear this orange one, maybe. Let's see what we got here. You know, this is an interesting, you know, I said I wasn't going to use any powder. You really would not need to with this, because it really has that kind of liquid to powder finish. And it looks like, my face looks like it's been heavily powdered, not in a bad way, but my face looks powdered if you see it up close. And I'm not mad at that, but it's an interesting type of matte. And I'm glad I did this check-in at 2 hours in, because when I come back for the, I'll do the intro with fresh makeup on, and then, you know, you'll see me at the very end of the day. Yeah, interesting. It doesn't seem to be causing any trouble though. Yeah, I mean, maybe yeah, it's not causing any trouble. It's just looking a little powdery. It's a little bit of a different look than I'm used to. So that's going to come down to preference. Let's let it ride. Okay, it has been 7 hours. I forgot to reapply lipstick, so I'm sorry about that. I reapplied it a few hours ago, so there's a little bit of it still on, but bear with me here. Everything is holding up well. I don't have much makeup on. We've got some Chanel blush. Everything will be listed down below and where I can here on YouTube Shopping. And I am wearing, once again, because I cannot put it down, the Sweed Beauty Golden Beetle eyeliner, which is like a black gold, and it is probably the favorite eyeliner I have ever tried in my entire life. I am not kidding. I love them. Okay, so let's take a look at the newly reformulated Ultra Le Teint Velvet Chanel foundation. Here it is with the makeup on. My intro, I had just applied it. In this video, I had let it go 3 hours. So this video, it's about 4 hours old. And it's looking pretty good. It's a light shade, but it's a brightening shade. Let's take a look. A very matte finish and very powdery. And that is a little off-putting to me. I am used to a little bit more of a glow, and maybe because it's gotten colder, my normal skin maybe is a tad bit drier than it's been. So though it says that this is good for normal or combo skin, I would love to recommend it to my oily skin viewers. I will say this though, the powder definitely blurs. The pores are looking great here. It's been 7 hours. Here too, I do get pores on my cheeks. They're looking great. I have a little bit of Chanel highlighter in that highlight blush combo that they put out a season or so ago. And it's not even showing any texture. So I will say the powdery effects of this blur like crazy. And the whole point of this foundation is to blur, and that it does, and is still doing it at 7 hours quite easily. I mean, wow. Here and here where I get pores, and here is looking fantastic. Looks pretty good under the eyes. Remember, I didn't set this with powder, although the blush is powder. So, you know, that sets it a little bit. Yeah, so my end thoughts on this, it's holding up great after 7 hours, which thankfully it is, because, you know, this promises to go much longer than 7 hours, and it easily would. I find it a little bit disconcerting that it is now kind of that powder finish, because I like a dewier finish. Okay, but does it blur? Absolutely, it blurs beautifully. How about the fragrance? A little less than a lot of Chanel fragrances, but a little bit of a burst of fragrance when you first apply it, and then it dissipates. All in all, a great product for those who like a matte finish and need a blurring powder look. It's essentially self-setting, so you don't have to powder it. And it's going to come down to preference. If you like a dewier, or if you have kind of a dry skin, you won't like this foundation. But it's really a nice light medium to medium coverage. And forgetting everything else, it does what it says on the tin, as they would say in Great Britain. It's what it promises to do, it does. It's just personal preference on the look, if that makes sense. I want to know what you guys think. And I also want to know, because it's not just about me yapping at you up here, I also want to know what you guys think about these kind of silent reformulations that some brands do and Chanel has chosen to do here. While on one hand, I actually respect them for not saying, no, the blush is new. I kind of respect that because it's not trying to sneak us to buy things. And I think that might be the camp I fall into. If you got to reformulate, you got to reformulate. I know costs need to be cut. I know there were issues in terms of getting products and supplies and ingredients. So I think I might give this to them. Or do you guys feel that was really kind of sneaky and wrong? In marketing, it's one or the other. You either make a big deal out of it or you say nothing. They chose to say nothing. I don't know. So it's a topic of conversation I would love to hear. I also want you to check out tomorrow. This is exciting. Tomorrow we have I'm going to introduce our Not Fit for Print Beauty Community Beauty Awards for 2024. And this time I will have it on a Google form. And that is going to be released tomorrow with the link to the Google form. So please do check that out. Make sure that you're subscribed and like and share and all that good stuff. And I'll see you all tomorrow when we introduce the Community Beauty Awards.